Hey everyone, welcome back to my another video. My name is Rushikesh and I make videos on university education, working and life in Germany. So today I have a guest speaker with me. His name is Juan and he is working in Germany and he's from Brazil. So in this video we are going to talk about our experiences, our journey as an international over here in Germany, looking for a job, finding a job, and now we both are working in different industries in Munich. So let's just get started with this video. So I would like to get to know about you, Juan. Can you tell me about your introduction? When did you come here? How did you come, and what are you doing now?
Hi everyone, very happy to be here today sharing a bit about my experience. So my name is Juan, I'm originally from Brazil. So I basically grew up in Brazil until I was 21. So basically I did my bachelor in Brazil and on my first internship abroad, I came over directly to Germany. So basically I worked for a German company in Brazil by the time I was doing an internship, and I saw the opportunity to come over to Germany to get some experience as well as to get some money to pay my expenses. So it was a really good deal. And by the time my English was not that good, but still I could come over here, I could work here, and of course I started also studying German. So that was basically my first experience with Germany, and I liked so much that I decided to come back to Brazil to finish my master and then come over to Germany again to do my master's. So basically in Germany we have so many opportunities which I saw and I didn't have in Brazil. That's why I really decided to come here to learn the language as well as to do my master's and with that also get some workplace in Germany. So basically I did a master's in management as well as in project management. And I did a kind of dual studium that we say here in Germany, where you work and you study in the same time. So the company that hosted me on this program paid fully for my master, so it was a really nice experience. Although I didn't speak German, I only spoke English at work. They still sponsored me, they paid my German course, and they provided me with this great experience. So I worked for this company for around 8 years. So, and in this company, I had a chance to move a lot, and I also had a chance to change career. So I studied management, but because of this internship, which was in the area of IT project management, I was hired after the internship, and I worked in this company mostly as an IT project manager. So there I also can tell you that here in Germany you do have a lot of opportunities. As for example, I had this opportunity first to change career, secondly also to do my work fully in English, so I didn't need to speak German at all, and it still go next in my career. So I started as an intern, they hired me after 2 years, then I got higher and higher, and after 8 years I had so much knowledge that I decided also moving to another company. So it's been now around 13 years that I'm in Germany. So I worked for three international companies, global companies, mostly as an IT project manager, and today I'm heading a team with around 10 people in the area of web and digital market analytics.
Right. So thank you so much, Juan. But here I got a question. I got curious to know more. So when you said you are changing your job, you changed your job and now you are in a different company. Can I ask you how was the transition? I mean, what when you are looking for another job, what all things did you prepare for? How was the German necessary in that case? And what did you feel like when you were switching the job? How was the preparation?
Yes. So yes, I mean, first of all, the preparation starts on paper, right? So if you wanna change jobs, although you are maybe working in a great company and maybe you have great skills, maybe you have also great experience, but if this experience doesn't show in paper in a way that it's convincing, you will not pass through the process. So I started, of course, making sure that I have a really nice CV when it comes to a nice structure, to a nice design, as well as with a content that relies on the position that I was applying for. So not with the CV, but also cover letter or supporting documents. So I basically built an application which really showed my experience, my motivation, and only after that, only after I really had a great CV, a great documentation, then I started applying for jobs, and then things started coming much more than I was expecting.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad things are working out pretty well. Thank you so much for sharing. So, many of my viewers know about me, but if you're watching me for the first time, I would also like to introduce myself or share my journey or my experience over here. So, I came to Germany in 2020 to study my master's in electrical engineering over here. And then I studied for 2 years. I finished my master's program, and as soon as I graduated, I had job offers, and one of them was quite interesting for me, which was kind of providing me what I wanted to do in my career, and that was from Munich. So I selected that, and I came to Munich in 2022. So since then, I have been working at a semiconductor company. I work as an embedded systems engineer, and yeah, with that. But the journey was, when you are graduating, and although I had previous experience, but there was still a lot of job applications to make, and then rejection ratio was so high that sometimes one gets demotivated, or what I am doing wrong here, or it's like a demotivating factor that why I am the only one who is getting rejections. So these kind of thoughts come in, and then you have to overcome those. So somehow I was getting some good guidance from my colleagues and my classmates and my seniors. So it was kind of roller coaster ride, I would say, but at in the end I was able to get the job offer. So yeah, but we'll talk about that, how we did it later in this video. We are also going to share some tips with you, what to do and how you can look for job for yourself. So even if you are studying somewhere or doing something abroad, and then you want to come for a job just like one did, or if you are studying in Germany right now and then you are going to look for jobs, I think this video is going to be helpful for both of you. So let's start one, I think, with a very basic question: how to look for job openings, how to find job openings.
Yes, so that's a very good question. There are many jobs opportunities over there. So great tools such as LinkedIn, Indeed, Stepstones, which we use in Germany, offers you a ton of opportunity that you just can go over and then see if something fits to you. But as you said, I had similar experience. I also, when I came over to Germany, and through my whole process, which sounds nice, I also had my struggles. I also had my rejections. I also had my learnings. So I also applied for over 100 to 200 positions, and I was getting rejected and rejected over again. So, and because of that, I also try to understand, so why I'm being rejected? What are the reasons why? So I have a good skills, I have good communication, I have good experience, I have been in Brazil, I have been in Germany, I have been in the US. Why it's not happening? And only then, when you understand that you have to follow some specific process, and that, as you said, if maybe you have someone who have done the experience before that could give you some guidance and maybe show you the way, or have some coach which could help you along the way, this would make your life, or would have made my life also much easier, and you could achieve your goal much faster. But still, through the process, you learn a lot, but it's not only about applying for jobs, but it's really about doing your homework and having a goal and going for your goal. So not having good skills, technical skills, communication skills is not enough. So you need to have the motivation, you need to work hard, otherwise you will not get it.
Yeah, definitely. And as we were talking about how to find job positions, I would say it's, as one mentioned, LinkedIn is a great tool. Apart from that, there are job portals like Zing or Stepstone, Indeed kind of thing. So you can use those tools to look for companies in your area, even if there are job opening mentioned and they are not suitable for you, but you got a still a company name, and you can go to the website and check another opening if there is any open position. Let's now, you got the open position, but you want to make an application or make a job application. How one you can say that how to make a successful job application? What do you need for that?
Yes. So as soon as you see a position, whenever you go in an external website, my suggestion first to go in the host website or in the company that you have the open position and apply over there. So I mean, you have to go through the bureaucratic process, right? And just fulfill what they are asking for. But besides the documentation, my suggestion is really that if you're applying for a specific position, make sure that you understand the job description, make sure that you understand which industry you're going to apply, and make sure that your CV is in somehow also reflecting what the position is asking for. So that you also have relevant experience, and otherwise this will not be seen by the recruiter and you will not be selected. For example, if you are doing a course in soccer on the weekend, or doing a training on the weekend, and the position is a software developer, and you put skills like soccer, it's not a match, you know? So make sure that if you have done some LinkedIn trainings on coding or whatever, or Scrum Master or project management, which is relevant to the position, so that in somehow you have a connection. Maybe you don't have the experience that they need, but you have something which could be useful for the position.
Definitely, definitely. And would you also like to share some tips on making a cover letter? What things to add in that?
Yes. So, I mean, first of all, in the CV, you have the opportunity to list all your experience, all your achievements, and have a snapshot what you have done previously. So now with the cover letter, it's really important that in this letter you bring your motivation. So you bring really some good reasons why you is the best candidate to fill this position. Why you are standing out of the other competitors who is applying for this job, and what you bring more than you already have shared in your CV. So with that, you have a chance to put in 5 sentences where you're coming from, what you did, and maybe also the main 3 skills that you built along your journey, and also maybe some real example on achievements, on a process, on a win, on an award, which is relevant to the job and will impress the person who's going to be reading your letter. So if you follow this step, you're gonna crash. And again, people will read your cover letter first if you pass through the CV. So it's a process. Therefore, make sure that you use both channels to impress and come across as a good candidate.
Definitely, these are definitely wonderful tips. I also have one question over here. Let's say someone who is not having a good experience or relevant work experience behind, and he's just a graduate. I mean, he never worked in companies before, or maybe like that. How would you say that making a good cover letter for him would go? Like in that way, he doesn't have many achievements to show, but still he wants to apply for a job, and in this kind of thing, what things one should consider?
Yes. So as a student in Germany applying for junior positions, it's totally fine that you don't have relevant work experience. As long as you make sure that you enrich your CV with skills that you have built along your university journey. Yes. That you include some skills that you maybe also have had in a job in a cafe, but that you build these skills in a way that it's relevant to the job. For example, so if you don't have a work experience, but you have had a project in your university where you work in team, where you built a specific application, or that you developed a company together with your mates, you can put that as a side project where you have had the chance to go through the whole process, that you build a timeline, that you manage the project, that you worked in teams. So you need to make sure that you bring these skills in a professional way, so that people really understand what you did and how you could be helpful for the position that they're going to be applying for. So that's why, so don't be scared if you don't have experience. Just make sure to use the experience that you have and maybe you don't know wisely. And I tell you, so you don't need to have experience maybe on job, but for example, if you planned a birthday with your friends when you were in high school, so this is a project. Why? Because you go through the whole process. You have a plan, you have a timeline, you need to send an invitation, you need to buy the stuffs, you need to bring people together. So there are so many skills that it's within such an activity that you just don't know, and you should realize. That's why you are not lying, you are just showing your skills in different ways. So having skills is not only about work, it's about the university, it's about how you deal with your friends, how people perceive how you are. So that's why make sure to use that also in your favor.
Definitely, this kinds of provides another level of understanding on this problem, and this is, I think, I have never thought in this way. So definitely, it's a different approach that you are saying, and makes sense. Totally makes sense to put it in the interview or put it in the cover letter. So now we'd like to go through. Now we made the application, but now what if your application gets selected and you are approaching an interview? So I would like to know from you, what kind of tips do we like to give? Do you like to give for an interview? Because sometimes for a full-time job application, full-time job position, there will be multiple rounds of interviews. How one should drive through that or crank those? Yeah.
Yes. So after you convince on paper, after you have done your job, after you really stand out of other candidates, you're going to be invited for the interview. So during the interview, first of all, you need to remember an interview, it's on both sides. It's first to see if the company wants to hire you based on your skills, but it's also for you to understand if the company matches the value and all the things that you're looking for. And usually, people, when they go to the interview, they go very afraid. They are overwhelmed, and they are not sure. And this is a feeling that people have due to the fact that they are facing something that they want. But this is wrong, like you don't know yet if you want. Of course that maybe you are gonna get everything that comes across your way, but you should not show that. You should show confidence, you should speak on the same level, so that the interviewer also see, well, this person is really like someone who I want to hire. So first things first, so don't be afraid. Go to the interview with this thought: I am good, I'm great, I have skills, I have studied, I have some experience, so I'm good enough for this job. If you go with this mentality, if you go with this positiveness, you start the interview already in a good way. And of course, that during the interview, it's really important that if you're having an online interview, that you make sure that you have a nice background, that you're speaking on the same level. Yeah. That you really to take the time for the interview, because honestly, I have done so many interviews with so many candidates where background is really bad, so I cannot see them very well. So it's really important to pay attention on all these details, like how is your posture, how you are looking in the camera, how is your image also across this interview. So these are only basic tips, but also make sure that you understand what the company is doing, so that you do your research about also the interviews that is going to be speaking with you, so that you also understand what the position is about, what they are looking for. Also that during the interview, when you start speaking about yourself, you have a speech which is convincing, Don't go to the interview and be shy and say, hi, I'm Juan, I'm from Brazil, and I have been working. So you see, like, make sure that you focus there, that you have a good posture, and that you really have a speech which is appealing, that is convincing. It's all about training, you know? So if you do your homework, if you do your research, you're gonna do well in the interview. And of course that you also learn, right? So usually what I would suggest is record yourself. So do a speech for yourself, or maybe for a friend, and record this speech, and after 5 minutes, see it again and ask yourself, would I hire myself? If you say I will, then you're doing a great job. If you say no, I won't, do it over and over again.
Yeah, practice and practice, definitely. I would also like to add on to your point now. As you said in the beginning, it's interview from both the sides. It's your interview and you are also interviewing them. You should also have some questions for them. Basically what you want to know from that company, from that position. So you should show some interest also by asking questions about the team, about the job role, or what kind of task you'll be doing day to day, average day, how does the average day looks like at the company in your job role. Are there any learning opportunities for you, are there any trainings, something like that. And that way it's kinds of, it also shows your interest in the company, and the interviewer would be interested to hear from you what do you think about that. So yeah, definitely make sure you ask questions also like
Yes,
that.
that's a very good point, like asking the right questions, preparing the questions before the interview. So make sure that your questions is also not that broad, right? Of course that you can ask broad questions, but if you know already that you're gonna be working in project management, that you're gonna be working with Salesforce, that you're gonna be working in the, I don't know, financial industry, ask questions that you know already the answer, and try to be very technical. So if you are a project manager, you can ask, well, what are the project management approach that you're working in this company? And based on the answer, you can say, well, because in my company that I was working before, we used the process A, B, and C, and this worked very well. I believe that if you don't have that yet in your company, I can bring some knowledge to speed up the process. So you're using a question that you already know the answer, that you had success in the past, and you can bring that as a strength for your interview. So just a tip for you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
From the last question would be for you, everyone who is in Germany has this question: how does this language important while looking for a job? I mean, how much role would it play, or what level should I be to apply and get a job?
Yes. Well,
German language.
German language. That's a very good question. So all our customers also ask, so can I get a job in Germany without speaking German? Short answer, it depends. So it depends the area that you're going to work for. For example, if you are a doctor, if you're a dentist, you most probably need German, right? Because these are professions that you really need to speak with the public. But if you are in the area of business, engineering, IT, project management, so the answer is you don't. You don't need the German for the job. Of course, if you have German skills, this will be something good because you're going to be able to express yourself and also be able to get different projects. But believe me, in Germany, it's been now 13 years that I'm working here. I always worked in English, so it is possible. But of course, don't come to Germany and say, well, I'm gonna live here in English because you are in Germany. The language here is German. So make sure that you also start already studying German, maybe your home country or when you are here, because this will help you first to integrate to the culture. Secondly, also to help you to deal with all the bureaucracy that you have here, which is a lot. And of course, that this will give you also more opportunities, and also that you're gonna be living here with more happiness, because if you don't adapt to the country, if you don't speak the language, most probably you're gonna be having only international friends, which we have a lot of internationals here. But believe me, you also want to make sure that you get to know some Germans. If you are in a German group, there are 10 people speaking German, you are the only English one, so you know, you're gonna get there. But of course that you don't need to have the German to get the job. If this is a point for you that is blocking you today, don't do that, apply, because you're gonna have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, showing some interest is also an important, even if you don't know German right now, but you show an interest and you will be, saying I will be improving my skills over the period of time. That's also kind of indication that you are eager to learn. That shows, that you also willing to put some efforts into learning German. And yeah, as he said, it's not only about working or on the job learning the language or needing the language. You also have to manage your day-to-day life and integrate into the culture. So everywhere you are going to need German. So make sure that you also learn it beforehand, if you get a chance. And then also, when you come here, you can also put some efforts into that. Yeah. So I think we have covered a lot of topics and all the important questions that should be answered when someone is looking for a job, right from making an application or finding a job to interviews. So we have covered everything. Thank you so much, Owen, for sharing all the details with us. So Owen is also helps student to get a job here in Germany. He has a website. If you want more information, you can also check on his website. I will put the link in my video description. Right. Thank you so much, Owen, for the details.
Yes, thank you
So,
for having me.